Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura if you are new here, and today I am going to be reviewing the Secrets, adults only, all-inclusive, Puerto Los Cabos resort in Mexico on the obviously Cabo side of Mexico. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts and just pros and cons on the resort, then just keep watching. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the pros because I always just feel like that's more fun, right? And then we'll get into the kind of negative stuff. So the resort is super close. Well, not super, but I would say is fairly close to the airport. I think it was about a 25 to 30 minute transfer or taxi. We actually had an issue with the transfer service, which I will go over in more of like the con section because that was definitely a big con and definitely something to be aware of when you're going to this resort and booking anything through Secrets because Hyatt has now taken over, so they've had some changes with that. But it's very close to the resort, which is, or excuse me, yeah, the airport is very close to the resort, which is very convenient, especially when you've had a long flight. We flew from Maryland, so we had, two flights, flew through Houston and then went down south. So that's definitely a pro, I think, of the resort. Overall, the resort, the grounds are stunning. They are well kept. They're always out there sweeping, trimming the hedges, like making sure everything is beautiful. That's been consistent across most of the Secrets resorts that we've been to, if not all of the Secrets resorts that we've been to. So definitely a plus. The food was fantastic, especially the Mexican restaurant, authentic Mexican food. I actually don't like Mexican food that much, and it was fantastic. The guacamole was like super fresh. So food, grounds, stunning. Check, check, check. I would go back there for the food and just the views because the views are beautiful with the scenic mountains in the background. It's definitely more of a deserty vibe, not so much of a they have palm trees, but it's not so much of a Caribbean feel, I'll say. So if you're into that, kind of like an Arizona vibe, if you've ever been there, if you're into that, I highly recommend this resort. Lots of cactuses everywhere, which is kind of cool and like just a different vibe. So that was kind of a neat thing to see because normally we go to like Jamaica or Grenada or Punta Cana or the Caribbean, like Cancun side, and you see like palm trees and more of that Caribbean feel. So this is definitely, being on the Pacific side, it just has a different vibe. So I think those are all pluses. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to switch up my setup here. So continuing on with the pros, a couple of things. So again, as I mentioned, the food was fantastic. I highly recommend the Mexican restaurant. And the sushi was pretty good too. It wasn't as good as Sandals Grenada sushi, but it was pretty good. And I wanted to mention the drinks. The drinks were fantastic, much better than Secrets Jamaica Montego Bay. In my opinion, the service was very quick. They would come around to you at the pool or at the beach to see if you needed drinks. This is definitely more of a pool resort than it is a beach resort, and I'm going to get into that when I talk more about the cons. But so there's not as many people at the beach area, and they still had a bar, which you could see if you watched my vlog, which is my previous video that I posted. But there is a bar available at the beach, and they are still servicing you. We were out in the loungers. They would come out and ask us if we wanted a drink. So that was great because I felt like it was really lacking when we went to Secrets Jamaica Montego Bay. So that's a huge plus. So they were really great, and the service was pretty quick with the drinks, I would say, at the pool and at the beach. And then just some of the drinks, I'll put them on the screen here, that I loved. One, my husband had a blue margarita, and it's made with, I believe it's blue curacao, and that was fantastic. I like margaritas, so if you like margaritas and you want to try something different, I highly recommend that. Also, my favorite frozen drink was the Banana Mama. It was so good. It's like, you would think it'd be white, but it was pink, and it has, if you like frozen banana flavor, that's what it was. And it was so good. So I highly recommend those two drinks. There is a menu somewhere floating around, like at the bar. And what I recommend you do, we always do this, is just take a picture of it so you have it on your phone, so that if you want to try like all the different fun drinks, if you're one of those people, then you can just, you can just pull it up on your phone and then order whatever you want, because they don't have menus at every bar. And some of the other secrets resorts that we've been to usually have menus. So just something to call attention to with that. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was that the staff was so nice. Again, I felt, just comparing this experience to the last secrets we went to, which was 2022. I have a vlog on and review on this one, the Secrets Montego Bay. The staff there was just not friendly, and the staff here was fantastic. They were very friendly, very accommodating, very nice. We only had like one kind of issue with someone, which I'll go over in the cons, which was kind of mind-blowing, honestly. And yeah, we'll get into that. But other than that, the staff was always super helpful and accommodating and nice. So I highly recommend the resort based upon that too. And then the last pro I'm going to go over is just the golfing option that you have here, which obviously, if you've been looking into this resort, you probably see in the title that it says, I think it says like golf resort, Cabo Golf Resort. So obviously I don't golf, but my husband and we went with his best friend and his wife. His best friend golfs, so he, brought his own clubs and everything, and they took a day to go and do the golfing. So I'll see if I can insert some pictures here of just some of the views that they had the, opportunity to see when they were up there golfing. So they really enjoyed that experience. Something they told me though is that it's not included. So if you want to golf, you have to pay to golf per day, I believe. And you also have to pay to rent the clubs if you don't bring your own clubs. So just note, if you want to do that, you have to pay extra for that. And I'm pretty sure the drinks and the food were not included. So you have to pay for drinks and food. So it's really like, it's the golfing is available there for you, but it is kind of an added extra expense. So, but they said the views were beautiful, and they'll schedule you can schedule like a golf cart to come pick you up. So you'll have and they will take you to the area where you are able to golf. So they schedule all that for you, and then you pick a tee off time and everything. So I think they teed off in the afternoon around 2:00. So yeah, so I just wanted to mention that. I wasn't a part of that. I didn't see it, but the pictures were really pretty. And I think if you are into golf, this might be the resort for you. So, yeah, so those were my really high level, pros. Unfortunately, I had more cons at this resort than I had pros. And yeah, okay, so we're going to talk about the cons. I kind of broke this up like I've done in the past into a couple categories. So we'll talk through the room, the beach, the food, the pool, and then the transfer. So I'm going to start with the transfer, because that was probably one of the worst things about the whole situation. And this isn't a Cabo, a Secrets Cabo, Puerto Cabo, Los Cabos issue. This is a Secrets chain issue. And it happened to obviously us, and then it happened to the folks that we went with. So long story short, it sounds like since the Secrets chain has now been, I don't know if they were acquired by Hyatt or they're working with Hyatt, that somehow they're now under Hyatt. And that has unfortunately caused a lot of issues. And I've talked to other people that have been to Secrets that have noticed, or Secrets chains, and that have noticed also issues with the Hyatt taking things over. And just the people that they're hiring, that sort of thing. But the main thing is that when we got when we landed and we got to the airport, and if you've done all-inclusive resorts, you know how this works. You walk out and there's a million people everywhere. They're trying to get you to taxi with them, but you have your transfer set. So you go over to the people that have the transfer. If you watched my vlog on this resort, the previous video, I talked about this. And it's Airmark, I believe, is the name of the company that does the transfers for Secrets and has always done the transfers for Secrets. They're the folks in the blue, like Hawaiian printed shirts. So you're supposed to go over there, find them, tell them your name. They usually have you on the list, and then you just get in the shuttle, and then they shuttle you right to the resort. Well, they didn't have our name on the list. So we were kind of in panic mode, and long story short, we were on the phone with the hotel trying to ask, like, what the heck? Like, we know we booked a transfer, or at least we thought we booked a transfer. They had no record of us, and long story short, we had to take a taxi, which luckily you're in the best spot to find a taxi because there was a gentleman that was there that, it was legitimate. He, charged us $70, which was more obviously than the shuttle. The shuttle is $44 one way. So it's $88 round trip if you choose the shuttle, just so you know, at least with this resort. So he took us for $70, and we honestly did not care at that point because we just wanted to get the heck out of the airport and get to our resort so we could start, enjoying ourselves. So essentially, usually the old process was that when you would go and book on the Secrets website, which we've always done that, you book on the Secrets website, we book our room and our transfer and our flight. And my husband would always do it, but there was I think a little box to check where you could just check that you wanted to transfer. Now that's gone. And now you have to go click on some link. Apparently there is a link on the page that directs you to a separate page. And this is through Hyatt, that gives you an option to select what type of transfer you want. So before I think you just got the shuttle, that's what it was. And now you can choose a private car or there's other options. There's 4 different options instead of just choosing the cheapest option, which is the shuttle. So when we were in the taxi, we were pretending to book a trip and seeing where we went wrong, basically. And the same thing happened to our friends. So they had to taxi to the resort as well. So just remember, please, 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 when you are booking, make sure you have your transfer confirmation. Take a screenshot of it. Make sure you physically have gone to the transfer page to book your transfer and select your transfer, because this is apparently a new thing and we were unaware. And that was very upsetting and alarming when we got to the airport and we couldn't get in a transfer. So anyway, that was my first con. So now let's just talk quickly about the room. We'll start with the room. So we got there, and I talked about this in my vlog, and I tried to show it as well. But on our balcony, again, we just got the simple garden view because this was just a small trip for us. We didn't want to spend too much money. There were so many mosquitoes. Apparently they're called garden mosquitoes. There were so many mosquitoes on the balcony that we could not even open the door or go on the balcony. And I think the second or third day it called because my husband was like, I want to go out on the balcony, even though luckily we didn't have a super great view. It was just another building there. But you have a balcony for a reason. You're on vacation. You want to be able to use it. I called and asked someone to come up and spray, and they never came. Or if they did, it didn't look like they did anything. So that was one con. They never came to the room. And there were a ton, a ton. And I get eaten up very easily, and so does my husband. So we were very upset about that. So if we had a soaking tub on the balcony, we would have been pissed that we weren't able to go out there, and I would have demanded that somebody come and spray. So again, could have just been our room, could have been the location. We got the garden room, and we were in the back building, super far from the beach and the pool and everything. So, so just something to note about that. Also, one last thing with the room is the secrets box, which is usually a huge plus. And I actually did notice this when we were in Jamaica a couple years ago with the Secrets Jamaica. It's really annoying because I think they want to tip. So when they knock on your door to bring you room service, what they should do, if you don't answer the door within like 30 seconds, is put your food in the secrets box. And one night we ordered and they kept knocking and knocking and knocking. And I'm like, are they serious? Like, we're not answering. Clearly, just like put it in the boxes. If you saw my video, they have that secrets box where they can put the food in the box and then you have access to the box from your room, so you don't have to open the door. So it's convenience, it's privacy, right? But they want you to tip them. So they keep knocking because they want you to answer so that you tip them, which is just super annoying to me because there's a box for a reason. And honestly, we're the type of people on vacation, we just like want to do our own thing. We want to be bothered by anybody. So that was annoying. They kept knocking and knocking and knocking. And I eventually was like, please put it in the box. And then they did, but I think they get pissed about that. So just an annoying thing. It's just something to also call attention to. So those were really my only cons for the room. Everything else was great. They restocked everything very quickly, and we always had like fresh towels and sheets and all that because we get our room cleaned every day. So okay, so now I want to talk about the food. So like I said, the food was fantastic. They have, I believe, 4 restaurants. And if you've been to other secrets, they are pretty consistent. So like, for instance, the coffee place is called Coco Cafe. And it's like, usually that's what it's called at all the secrets resorts, no matter where you go. They have the Asian restaurant, which is Himitsu. So, that's what it's called across all of them. So this one, we noticed they did not have a French restaurant and they did not have a steakhouse, a steak restaurant. I believe they had Mexican seafood, the Himitsu, which is like the Asian, and then the Italian. And that's it. Like, obviously they have a beach bar, they have a lunch place, they have the Market Cafe, which is the breakfast place, and the buffet. You can get dinner there too, you can get lunch there, but they did not have a French or steak. So just kind of a con, like there weren't as many restaurants. We were only there for 5 nights, so it worked out perfectly for us. We didn't have to really repeat anything because the Himitsu is a 2-in-1. So you can do hibachi one night and then you can eat sushi the next night. So it's kind of like 2 restaurants in one. So, but if we had been there for like 8 or 9 days, we would have had to like repeat restaurants. And I don't know if that bothers you, but that's something that we don't like. Like, we would prefer to just have more options to go somewhere different every night, especially since we don't leave the resort. So no French, no steak. Just keep that in mind. The other thing is with the sushi restaurant, it was so slow. I know I had said the service was like super fast. It was, and this was the only restaurant where it was terrible. And I'm going to say that it was because of our server, because every time he would come over, he wouldn't write anything down. And then he would forget. We had to ask for things like probably, and I'm not exaggerating, like 3 to 4 times. We asked for limes we did shots of tequila. We asked for limes. We never got them. We kept having to ask. It was just like, it could have just been him. So I don't want to like say that restaurant's bad, but it was so slow. I mean, we were there for like 2 hours. It was ridiculous. And just trying to get and the food just came out at the wrong times. And like, we wanted sauce with our like soy sauce and yummy sauce. And we wanted to eat it with like the fish that we got. And like he just kept forgetting, and he'd come by with like other things. And I'd be like, hey, can I get a ginger ale? Like I said, like 10 minutes ago, like 20 minutes ago. So just another thing, slow. You might have slow service there. And then, okay, one last thing, and I think this kind of ties into the whole like tipping culture that has been an issue. So at the Mexican restaurant, which I know I said the food was fantastic, which it was, the dessert was literally the best dessert I ever had. It was like, they have churros and they had like these like kind of like donut ball type things with cream in them. And they were so good. Oh my God, so good. If you like that kind of stuff, you'll really like it. But so Juan, I'm going to call him out. Juan, if you're listening, rudest human I've ever met in my life. So we go to, like, we're wrapping up food, and now granted, we were there late. We are late dinner people. That's what we do. We were there and it was like 10:15 and they closed at 11. So it wasn't like super, super late, but there was nobody in the restaurant. It was just the 4 of us. And my husband goes to hand him like, what, $3 maybe? Because that's what we have always done. We travel and bring 50 to like 60 ones. And that's all we use for like the 6-day trip or whatever it is. Unless we do sandals where we had the butler, and if you watch my other video, if you're interested in sandals, if you have a butler, like you should bring more money. We brought like $200 or $300 to give tips like at the end. But for dinners, like you're initially before Hyatt took over, that you were not supposed to tip. Like it was written on the website, like that you like tipping was like included. You were not supposed to tip, but we always would bring a one just to, you know, show appreciation, and like you felt like they waited on you a little bit more, right? Well, apparently that's not the case now. And I think the problem is people are tipping too much, and then people are getting like greedy, I guess, because people will give somebody, like if you give someone like $100 bill or whatever, I don't know what people are doing, but this is my assumption, then people are going to expect, the servers are going to expect more and more. So we handed him $3 and he takes the money and he goes like this with it, like looking at it like this. And we were thinking, oh my gosh, like maybe he is like so appreciative, like so like, oh my gosh, you're giving me a tip. And he said, only $3, just like that to us, just like that. Okay, guys, all of us were like, what the, like, that is so disrespectful. We are guests that have paid thousands of dollars. No matter what your tip, you do not do that. And I think it's just like, I don't think it crossed his brain. And honestly, the guy was so weird. Like the whole night when we were eating, he was like standing like creeper stalker style, like standing behind us. It was just so uncomfortable. I don't know what was wrong with him. Juan, I don't know what was wrong with you. And I have a lot of respect for people. I am so nice when, like, in terms of like people that are in the service industry, I try to be so nice and patient, and I don't want to just like bother anybody, but that, I draw the line there. You are not disrespectful to a customer like that when it's uncalled for. Like if I was at a restaurant, I'd be tipping 20%, but I'm at an all-inclusive resort. Like, and if, you know, so anyway, if you're a tipper like me and you just bring a couple like ones or a 5 or something, then just keep in mind that don't give the tip to the person. Just, and by the way, this was the only like person that we had an issue with, you know, the whole time. So it, like all the other servers were fine, but I would leave the tip on the table. That's what I would do. But anyway, our friends that went with us had more ones. And so they were like, there's more coming. So I think hopefully at the end he was satisfied, but I guess he was very offended by, heaven forbid, our, you know, $3 tip. Okay. Sorry, I got a little sassy there, but that just really, it just really jingles my change. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, all right. So now moving on to the beach. So I think at this point, if you've watched my videos, you probably know that my husband and I are huge beach people. That's why we vacation. We vacation for the beach, not for the pool. Not that we don't appreciate a good pool. And I love going in the pool after I've been to the beach all day long, because I am a beach babe. It's just, grew up going to the beach, love the beach. It's who I am. I just, you know, it's in my soul. I just love it. It's just part of me. So that's so important to us. And we knew this going in because, again, our friends invited us to this resort and they had been before and they loved it. And they're more of pool people. So this is just a note for like whatever type of person you are. Just, I think this is important to know. And you can probably already see this without even me telling you. Like if you just go on the resort, you can tell that this resort is not, I'm going to put this on the screen, not a beach resort. Okay. So if you like to snorkel, if you like water sports, if you like lounging in the sun, like by the beach, if you like swimming in the beach, like water, in the water, this is not the resort for you. No, 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 no. And that's probably why we'll never go back. I appreciate the resort. It's just not the type of resort that I would choose to go to, because we are the type of people that like to go in the water and sit in the water all day. That's what we do. And then we lounge on the beach, and then we sit in the water. We lounge on the beach, sit in the water. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to get that here. The surf is way too strong. They actually make you sign a waiver. You're not supposed to go into the water, and they have like a red flag waving all day, which is like, no, can't go in the water. We saw 2 individuals go into the water, and we saw a lifeguard like running, which is funny. Isn't it funny they have a lifeguard when you can't get in the water? Well, running after them with a clipboard and made them sign a waiver basically like if you die, it's on you and not on the resort. So if you like, and the surf is very strong and there's rocks everywhere. So like if you were to get like bashed into the rock, like you could get severely hurt. So it's just, and the water was freezing. Now we went in April, so, but it was freezing. I don't know if it's any different in like August. Um, so just also keep that in mind. So that was like, and we knew this going in. The beach is huge and massive and there's no one on it. And so one day I just went down and sat on the beach by myself while the guys were golfing for like 2 hours. And it was like the best part of the time. Like I love just like being on the beach. But the water just kind of looks like it's the Pacific. So it just kind of looks like it looks here, like on the Atlantic coast. I don't know. I just didn't think it was anything to like shake a stick at, you know what I mean? Like, woo, like it just was kind of like, it was, the beach was beautiful and it's scenic, but it's not a Caribbean water, you know? But again, I knew that going in. So the other thing I want to mention is that the beach area to sit is not, so normally at most of these resorts, they have the chairs like on the beach, but they don't have that here because it's just not that type of place. So the chairs are actually like up on like this cliff area and it's very, very small. They're like, luckily it's again, not a beach resort. So we usually found a chair the couple days we went out to the beach, but the chairs are so close together and there's so many umbrellas that there's like this much area for sun. And like we like to get tan, like lay in the sun. And there's just like, you had to find like little areas where the sun was shining, which was like annoying because you go to the beach, you want to tan, you want to lay out and get a tan, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that, but that's what I like to do. So that was annoying. It was just very small, not a lot of like spots for sun. Like you were just in the shade up there, but you have a beautiful view over like looking, the beach area. So that was nice. There is, like I said, a bar there with some swings, which is kind of cool. You can sit and swing and like get a drink. But they do not serve food there. So if you want to get food, you have to walk all the way back to the pool area, which is fine. I did that one day, but it was just annoying because I had to walk all the way back with like the food covered in plastic. And so it's just a very long walk. I show this definitely watch my vlog so you can see the walk out to the beach, but there's a tunnel. And then that tunnel just like dumps you right out to like this big deck, which has the stairs to go down to the beach and then the areas to lounge. And then the pool bar area is there. So you cannot order food there. So just note, you're gonna have to walk. If you wanna have like a beach day, you have to walk back to the, all the way back. I mean, it probably takes, depends how fast you walk, but it probably takes like 7 minutes, 8 minutes to like walk back to the pool area. So something else that was kind of annoying, like if you wanna go to the beach, it's like such a long walk to get out there. And then, yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps up the beach area. It was like just kind of underwhelming because it wasn't just like what we like in a beach, but it was still beautiful and I appreciate it. And it was cool to go there. I'm glad like a bucket list, like check up into Cabo. But probably just won't go back to this resort because of the, it's just not the type of beach that we like. Okay, so lastly, I just want to quickly talk about the pool. Our friends did the preferred club. We did not. And I mean, you can see it, but they also told us that the preferred club pool is so tiny and it's very quiet, which is I like quiet personally, but if you like more like party, like pool vibe, I don't know if it's worth it to get the preferred club. But the pool is so tiny. It does overlook the beach, which is, I think, a huge plus. But it's just super tiny and it's just very, very quiet. So just note that if you're like trying to consider like doing the preferred club. And also just in general, I just feel like April is not a great time to go to this resort because it's just too cold. Like in my opinion, at nighttime, I was freaking freezing and I'm a summer person. I have like all the dresses I brought were summery, like skinny straps and stuff. And I didn't, and maybe that's on me. Like I didn't bring anything to like put over. So I was like freezing and I didn't want to sit outside because it was cold. So, yeah, it's just like, for me, again, we'd never go back here, but like if we did, it's just not a resort in my opinion, that you'd want to go to in April. When you're in the pool, like the water feels warm, but then when you get out, you're freezing because the air temperature is so much colder, which is just annoying because like we've never experienced that at any, because you know, we travel in September most of the time. So September, you do not experience that in Jamaica, Grenada, Punta Cana, Mexico, Cancun, like all those areas. So to me, that was a big con. I didn't like that. But that had nothing to do with the resort. It had to do with like the time of the year that we chose to go. So if you want to be warm, do not go in the spring. I would say wait till like June to go, in my opinion, like June, July, August, even. Like, I mean, to me, I'm like, bring on the heat. Let's make it humid. Like the hotter, the better, you know? And the other con I would say with the pool is that the pool bars close, the main pool bar there. It's basically one big pool. That's all it is. And besides the preferred club pool, there's just one big pool and there's 2 hot tubs, one smaller one and one bigger one. Those were like piping hot and amazing and great. And the pool water, again, as I said, is like pretty warm. It's just cold when you get out. But the pool bar that's connected there closed at 5, which was ridiculous because there were still like a ton of people in the pool. And like, I don't know. I thought that was bizarre. I've never seen the pool bars close that early. So you could not get a drink there anymore. Like once 5 o'clock hits, that was frustrating. And then it started to like quiet down in the pool area, which was nice. Cause we usually stay in the pool till like 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. And we'll go get like coffee and stuff. So it was nice cause like it started to quiet down. But yeah, so that was interesting to me. I didn't like that. I was like, oh, I can't. Cause normally, like at most of these resorts, we'll go to the beach and then afterwards when we leave the beach, we'll go like grab a drink and get in the pool. But we're usually leaving the beach at like 5:30 or so. So the bars have always been open, but it was not open. So I don't know if it was just the time of year or if that's how it is all the time, but that was kind of frustrating. So anyway, yeah, so those were pretty much all of my cons for the room, the beach, the pool, the food, and then that transfer situation. So overall, again, I would probably never go back here, but that is just me. I recommend it if you are a pool person that likes like the pool party vibe, and you like to golf, I would go because it checks all those boxes. You have that golfing option, and then you have like the pool party atmosphere. However, if you don't care about golfing, I would say like there's a lot of other resorts you could go to that are similar in like beauty, in terms of secrets, you know, like how well they keep the grounds and stuff, and food. Like it was nothing like, you know, out of the ordinary amazing to me. But it was a good resort. It was a good resort. I give it like a 3.5 out of 5, I guess I'd say. But again, it just wasn't a place for me that I would have chosen. So, yeah, so hopefully that was helpful to you. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. I am more than happy to give you like all of my thoughts and comments. If there's anything I might have missed, I try to just hit the highlights. So this wasn't like a super long video, probably still will be because I'm a chatter. But yeah, my husband and I are currently planning another trip for September for our anniversary. We're looking at sandals again. We looked at a couple secrets, but I think it's probably going to be a sandals trip. Might be going back to the place we went to for our honeymoon, which was Sandals, South Coast. It's in Jamaica. We had a great time there. So I will of course do another vlog and review on wherever we go. So that will probably be my next one. But I also know some folks were asking for a review on the differences between sandals and secrets. So I can work on that to try to give you some differences in my opinions on like what's better at each resort, especially now that Secrets has been kind of like taken over by Hyatt, which sucks. Like I'm not as big of a fan of it as I used to be years ago when we used to go. So anyway, all right, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, let me know if you have any questions at all, and like this video if you want to see more content like this, and I'll talk to you guys soon.